America is actually still the biggest. Anyway, let me tell you. The Paris Agreement said that, well, we should try hard to limit the increase in temperature to 2 degrees above the level at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. This is more or less the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, 1850. Industrial Revolution started about 1800, more or less. So look at this. Where are we? This is, well, a little bit of, how much is this? This is roughly 1 degree. We are already here. Can you see this? Is it too far for you? 後邊嘅睇唔睇到啊 ？Okay, if it is okay, please raise your left hand. Yeah, you really know it. if you raise your right hand, I know you are pretending. Well, we are already about 1 degree above the pre-industrial level of temperature. But we are already committed to another ½ degree. Right? So we actually have only ½ a degree margin. We notice that from here to the committed level, this is unavoidable temperature rise. It's already 1½ degree, but at the Paris Agreement, they cheated us. They said, well, let's try harder and try to keep it to below 1½ degree. It's nonsensical because we are already committed to 1½ degree. It is totally nonsense. There's nothing we could do to stop reaching 1½ degree. But the politicians make us believe that they had tried even harder than before, from 2 to 1½. But it is all only words. Well, now you know we are committed. If we continue our way of living, like in Hong Kong, see all the lights, all the cars, we are actually aiming at this level. And our government is still talking about economic growth. Population from 7 million to 10 million. Continued growth in everything. But let us see this in context. You all know that temperature rise is due to greenhouse effect. Is that okay? Greenhouse effect. And a lot of it is due to carbon dioxide. So I'll bring your attention to carbon dioxide level. It says carbon dioxide level, ppm. Now, this is 10,000 year context. This is now, more or less, and this is 10,000 years ago. When we started to have agriculture, when we started farming, when we, human beings, started farming on a large scale, actually carbon dioxide went up. You know why? When we started farming, even though there's no need to do any archaeology, looking at carbon dioxide, we already know that agriculture arose around 80,000 years ago. It's because we started chopping down trees, and the trees, the material rotted, and it emitted carbon dioxide. We're removing trees, and the trees became carbon dioxide. And at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, it was roughly 2080 ppm. For those who are not scientists, just treat it as a unit. And it took 10,000 years for the carbon dioxide level to rise by 20 units. 20 units. And let me just jump. Between 1976 and 2007, which is roughly 30 years, it also increased by 50 units. All right? We had the Industrial Revolution, and so we started burning coal. By 1900, we started burning petroleum, and between 1800 and 1976 or so, it rose by 50 units. So from Industrial Revolution to about 10 years ago, it rose by 100 units. So in 200 years, it rose by 100 units. But half of it took place in the last 30 years, since you were born. Since, like, all of you were born. Now, look at this. This is the last 200 years. Industrial Revolution, it rose up. And this is 1950. Suddenly there was a change. You notice the sharp change? 1950, post-Second World War, constructions everywhere. And everyone was trying to simulate or emulate the American success story experience. Everyone went into industrialization. So there are a lot of manufacturing, and all of you dreamt and then eventually did drive cars. Most of you, the younger people might be better. But old people like me was told that having a car is prestigious. So, and in the name of my son, I bought a car. Very stupid. Now, I realize. Well, anyway, this is industrialization. This is urbanization and consumerism and globalization and television, internet. I hate I hate
online shopping.
I hate online shopping because it involves a lot of transportation. My guess is that every day goods go from Kennedy Town to Shau Kei Wan, and the same good but different pieces go from Shau Kei Wan to Kennedy Town. Do any one of you know Kennedy Town? There are some people have no idea. You know Kennedy Town? Huh?
He's from Kennedy Town.
I was born in Kennedy Town. We named it as Kennedy Town before Kennedy became president. Well, now, in 10,000 years, this number rose by 20. And in the last 10 years, it also rose by 20. 10 years versus 10,000 years. So things are going very fast, much faster than most of us realize. Actually, I only realized this picture very late. And I was really shocked when I discovered that it took only 30 years to achieve something which is a half of what was achieved in 100 years. And then I in the last few years, I was watching. I have been giving lectures using this diagram since 2010. And then every year I have to adjust this red cross. This is the year before then. And I was really frightened by the very fast movement of this red cross in the past 10 years or so. It's horrible. If we have an intelligent alien watching the Earth from a distance using spectrometers, instruments, he will be able to detect this change. They don't say to Hong Kong or the Earth. And they will realize immediately this planet is going through or going into a disaster. Because in astronomy, things either happen within 0.001 second or within thousands or tens of thousands of years. Are you sure you know what I'm trying to say? Having changes at this time scale is very rare. And it has to be biological. The intelligent alien could tell immediately from a picture like this that this planet is going through a disaster because of a biological reason. Something suddenly grows very fast. It's like a cancer. And you know what the cancer is on this earth? Who is intelligent enough to say, what is the cancer? Huh? No, global warming is just a phenomenon. What is the cancer causing this global warming?
Human being.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Wow, this is from a scholar. Yeah.
And Donald Trump.
Donald Trump and copies of Donald Trump. But as human beings, we have been the cancer in the past 50 years. Well, let us look at this in the context of something like nearly a million years. This is 800,000 years ago. This is the carbon dioxide level again. And it has been going up and down roughly once in 100,000 years. I always have problem with numbers in English because we use a different way of expression. Well, it has always been like this for many years, and Homo sapiens, we appear at this time when it was rather low, around 200. So our ancestors came from a time when the carbon dioxide was relatively low and the temperature rather cool. Actually, we like coolness. That's why you have air conditioners here. And of course, the operators of shopping malls know very well that when the temperature is low, people tend to buy more things, especially ladies. When it is cold, we want to grab something. And that's why we set the temperature very low, and therefore emitting more carbon dioxide. Anyway, this is a picture from NASA, from America. And this is the level, well, actually more or less stays the same as this year. We are now actually 400. So it is already higher than what it was in the last million years. And if we continue with development as it is now, development equipping itself to growth, then we will end up something like 900 units by the year 2100. You probably have no idea what 900 is, but let me tell you, the indoor air quality standard is 1000. If it is 1000, then you would start to. That's what you see in lecture rooms because of the carbon dioxide level. So by the end of this century, the air quality outside would actually be close to the air quality standard. And we would all start, not me, I can't, I mean the younger people, you will start dosing off all the time. And with the very complex systems we are operating on Earth, and with people less than being alert, the systems won't work. And human race might be extinct simply because carbon dioxide was too high, and we are dosing off all the time. 個個都明查嗰陣時，啲系統係行唔喐嘅。But in cities like this, we need a lot of systems interacting with each one another, very complex. And if we are not alert, those systems won't work. Cities will break down. But if it suddenly all starts to lead a frugal life, F-R-U-G-A-L, well, maybe we could keep it to about 550. It is not good. It is actually not good, but it's probably something we will see, even we try all we could. So be prepared to live with 500 ppm of carbon dioxide in the air in your later life. Make your life simple, otherwise you won't be able to manage your life. Yeah. Well, to a scientist, this is a horrible projection. Although to most people it is just a diagram. But in reality, in terms of reality, it's a very horrible thing. We will all become, the younger people, you will all become fairly stupid because of the carbon dioxide. Well, time is running away. That's why I worry a lot. That's why I come to speak to you. Otherwise, I should be traveling somewhere, enjoying my cruise or enjoying my trekking in the hill. I really want people to realize that we are going into a very different world. Now, well, I'm sorry it's Chinese, but the look of it is terrible. It means 生物洗牌, I need to learn people to translate this.
No. It's like
Reshuffling,
yeah, reshuffling of all the.
living species.
Exactly. No, you do it.
And in the process of the reshuffling of living things, there is no particular reason why nature should keep human beings. Actually, some people guess that by this time, the biggest animals on earth would be this size. Because big animals are complex systems, and it's very difficult to manage. So, in my 100 years, I'm sorry, those who are around 30 years old, you must see that time. I won't. I'm so glad. Yeah. And so be prepared to see reshuffling of living things. It has already happened. The Great Barrier Reef this year has suffered a lot of damage. The last time I saw a reliable report is that 90% of the Great Barrier Reef is already dead. 90%. It means it's probably 95 now. Now let's look at another context. 25 billion years. This is the carbon dioxide level in the past 25 million years. It has been going up and down all the time. And this, the last part, is the glacial period or era. There are fluctuations of carbon dioxide level between here and here. In the past 2.5 million years, we have Homo, the genera, Homo appeared here. Homo sapien was the end of here. So look at this. This was what it was. In the past 20 million years, it has been fluctuating between roughly 300 and 200. But since Industrial Revolution, we are now up here 400. We are back to what it was 20 million years ago, 25 million years ago. You have to realize the time scale to understand how serious this is. So we are nearly going back to the age of dinosaurs. Nearly, not exactly. Dinosaurs, they were over here. Anyway, what will happen? I had this diagram from a friend, Will Stephen, who is an Australian. He is the one who coined the term Anthropocene. Have you heard of the word Anthropocene? In geology, they talk about Eocene, Miocene, the different periods in geology. And he coined the word Anthropocene. That means the human. The new geological period is the human period, Anthropocene. Well, according to his appreciation of things, he says that it is unavoidable that we will reach 1.5 degrees above the industrial level. If by the time we reach 2 degrees, we are getting close, he said that he would expect a lot of species to disappear and coral reefs would disappear. And I'm afraid he has been very accurate. The Great Barrier Reef is dying. And if you reach 3 degrees, the Greenland ice cap will dissolve, will disappear. And you know how much the water level will go up globally? 7 meters. It's just under there. Since will be all underwater. 6 to 7 meters. So when you buy a new flat, get it up to 30 meters. And buy an inflatable boat. And if it reaches 4 degrees, climate will change. Sudden abrupt changes in climate will occur. And he guessed that it would have very serious impact on the human race. He is being very gentle. It could actually mean extinction of the human race. And what will happen if we reach 5 degrees? It will be a new world. It will be a new earth. Modern civilization as we know it would disappear totally. So it is a serious problem for those who are 30 years old or 40 years old. The problem is that you might very well live up to 120 years. Actually, I'm worried that I might live to 120 years. I really hope that I will die early to avoid seeing this. Well, anyway, I have to impress upon you that we are really looking at a very serious problem within the time scale of 100 years or even 50 years within your life. Because for many years you have been saying that we must do good for the sake of our children and grandchildren. I'm sorry, this statement is wrong. You have to do good because you would like to have good life towards the end of your own life. 唔係為咗子孫，係為咗你自己下半世唔知懂得點。Well, I'm sorry to say this before your dinner. Maybe we need dinner to renovate our own soul. Well, this is just to remind you that the expectation is between 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees up to maybe 4 degrees, and have a small chance of reaching 5. And in a life and death situation, you would not accept a chance of 1 in 100. Alright? If there is 1 in 100 chance that the aircraft you would fly in would fall off the sky, you will not take the flight, right? If it is life and death. Now, so let's move on. I'm sorry. I was in 2 minds when I prepared this PowerPoint. Anyway, now I have a good chance to translate. What is the ultimate sin? We will go step by step to the ultimate sin. First of all, the world will become warmer. The polar ice cap will disappear within 10 years or 20 years, very quickly. I mean in summer. In winter, you will still have some thin ice. But in summer, we are looking at the prospect of the Arctic Ocean without ice in summer within 10, 20 years. And it's very unfortunate because once the ice is gone, sunshine will get into the seawater and warm up the seawater. So the result of getting warmer is getting even warmer. So you will have runaway greenhouse effect. So climate will suddenly feedback on itself, become warmer and warmer, and you will have extreme weather. We already have had extreme weather events all over the world. Now you can't deny it. It's already there. In the old days, I thought it was because